Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl A-Simone back at it again with another video. So as you guys saw by the title of this video, we're going to be doing a breakdown and a review P-Valley Season 2, Episode 2. So guys, we are officially back in action of P-Valley on Starz Season 2. It's been a long wait. Yeah, so we had Episode 1 2 weeks ago, 2 Fridays ago, not last Friday, but the Friday before last, and we were back on Episode 2. So I didn't do a review on Episode 1. Like I said, it was the premiere, so just to kind of get our juices flowing and just kind of get back into the groove, I didn't do a review on Episode 1, but we are back at it for Episode 2. And if you like this review, I will hopefully continue to do one for each episode this season. So yeah guys, we are back for Episode 2. Okay, so this episode starts off with auditions for the Pynk. So as you guys know, for this season, they are incorporated coronavirus, real life coronavirus, what's happening in the real world, they are incorporating that in with the show. So the Pynk was closed down, you know, because it was non-essential. The strip club was considered non-essential. So on episode one, a news flash came across the screen on a TV saying that they would be opening back, you know, regular, you know, non-essential businesses are back, the doors are back open. So now we're on episode 2, and Autumn wants to do auditions for the reopening. So if you guys don't know, Autumn is now part owner of the Pynk because she saved the Pynk from being auctioned off to a casino that's trying to move into the city. So the casino is trying to move into the city, and where they want to build the casino, is where the Pynk is. So when a company or something comes into a city, they pretty much, they buy you out, whether it's your house or your business, they buy you out to build this big commodity coming to the city. So they give you money for your business and for your land to pretty much tear it down. So the Pynk, they said they don't care what's going on, we're not getting rid of the Pynk. Which in that situation, you know, they're supposed to, well, you want them to pay you what it's worth. So in that situation, you can just obviously remove your business or reopen your business somewhere else. That would be the goal if you get bought out from somebody. Okay, I'm just gonna relocate the business. So yeah, so the Pynk was trying to get bought out last season, but Autumn, you know, with whatever she was doing, scamming and, you know, stealing money and saving the money, she beat the auctioneer for the building. So now she's part owner so that the Pynk could stay and not get tore down. So now, like I said, we're on season 2, and they're reopening because coronavirus, they're lifting the mandates for coronavirus. So now they're reopening the actual doors back up. And Autumn wants to do auditions. So Mercedes is against the auditions because she's like, yo, we're out here, you know, crabs in a barrel as it is with the girls that we got, trying to make it, you know, trying to make $1.15 during the coronavirus mess in the club being closed down. And I get Mercedes' point, but Autumn's point that she was trying to make was that, okay, we're doing a reopening, we need fresh new faces that's going to pull people in. So I get Autumn's point as well. You know, people have been inside, depressed, you know, not being able to go out, and now we're going to open up, you know, this form of entertainment in the city, which is the strip club. We need some fresh new faces that's going to pull people in and get people excited and, you know, get the ball rolling again. So I get what Mercedes is saying. It's like we were scraping the bottom of the barrel with the girls we have. And I get what Autumn is saying. It's like, yo, we need some fresh new faces. We need to make it fresh and new for this reopening and people coming back outside, being able to go out and have fun as far as entertainment. And like I said, Autumn, she's now a part owner because of her putting the money down for the Pynk. So now she's calling the shots. So yeah, so we open up the episode doing auditions, and we get introduced to 3 new girls. So we have Whisper, we have Roulette, and we have Big Bone. So Roulette and Big Bone, Big Bone is played by Miracle Watts. You are familiar with her. She is a influencer. She's actually an ex-dancer herself. So yeah, she's an ex-dancer / you know, influencer. Really popular, really pretty, and she's actually dating the co-star Tyler Leppy, who plays Diamond on the show. So they say he actually got her an audition to be on the show. So that's really dope. So the two faces that I recognize are Big Bone and then Roulette. Roulette, she stars on the other hit series Snowfall, and I know she's been a part of other shows and movies, but I recognize her the most from Snowfall. So she's out here in her bag, going from show to show, you know, doing her thing. And then we have Whisper. So Whisper, she is a new face that I'm not familiar with. But Whisper is about their life. Like, she is talented on the pole. Yeah. And Whisper, if you look at her in real life, she's a real pretty girl as well. If you look at her character on the show, she's really done up on the show. If you see her in real life, the way they have her done up on the show doesn't do her any justice. Now, obviously, this is a strip club, so they're trying to play into that whole strip club look. But in real life, she's a real beautiful girl, and she's a newcomer as well. So I'm not familiar with her like I am with the other two ladies. But yeah, so these women make the auditions, they make the cut or whatever, and they're going to be the fresh new faces for the Pynk. Okay, so next, while we're doing the auditions, we have Corbin. Corbin, he comes in and he's trying to discuss with Uncle Clifford about buying this strip club, you know, buying this strip club, whatever. And Uncle Clifford and Autumn, they're not here for it. It was like, you got to give the Pynk what she's worth, meaning the Pynk and all the years she's been there, what she's put in and what she's did for the city, for the people. You have to pay us our worth. Like, we're not trying to hear that. And so while they're in the meeting, they get the flyers for the opening. So the flyers come in, and Big L's like, yo, Clifford, the flyers are here. So Clifford goes out and sees that Autumn has moved the date of the opening from next Friday to this Friday. So let's say that this is like a Wednesday. So that means they have 2 more days until the opening, when Clifford wanted it to be next Friday. So Clifford is like, yo, like, why are you moving the opening so quick? And then the people standing around, Corbin is like, oh, that's his birthday. And Autumn, like I said, Autumn, she's the newest piece to the puzzle as far as the club. So Autumn was like, tomorrow's your birthday? Like, she had no idea. Like, she didn't even know this background information about Clifford. And, you know, she's been working here this time. So it seems like she know, you know, she doesn't even know, like, the basic information about the people she's, you know, working with. So they, you know, go in and they're arguing or whatever. They go into the office and they're arguing. And he's pretty much saying, like, you making all these changes, you doing all this stuff. Like, girl, you need to realize I've been in here putting in work. You know, I'm the reason why the Pynk is what it is. So don't get it twisted just because you put some money down. I appreciate you, but you're not ready to come in here and just take over. Like, I haven't put in work for years. So they argue, and Uncle Clifford, he storms out, and he's like, well, you can do the opening, the reopening by yourself, because I'm not going to be here. So Uncle Clifford's pissed off that, you know, Autumn's doing all these changes or whatever. Okay, so next we have Sheriff Bailey. He shows up to Keyshawn's and her baby daddy's house, Derek's house. And, yeah, Derek was trying to press charges on Diamond in the fight that happened last season. And Sheriff Bailey pretty much says, in order for me to press charges on him, like assault and battery charges, I would have to do the same charges on you as well. And he was like, well, that's not fair. He attacked me and da-da-da-da. Which, if you look at that scene, I think Diamond did attack him first, but physically attack him first. But Derek called him the N-word, or he was pretty much referring to everybody, like, at the club or in the city, y'all ain't nothing but a bunch of N-words. And that's when Diamond jumped on him. So guys, they did a recap of that, like, in the beginning credits. I totally missed that part when that whole episode happened. It was so much going on that night of everybody fighting and getting at it. I totally missed over the fact, or didn't realize, that he called them the N-word. I totally missed over that last season, like, literally. So yeah, so Sheriff Bailey says, in order for me to do assault and battery on him, I would have to do the same thing on you. Even though Diamond did technically start it, but he jumped on him because of him, you know, calling them the N-word. So Sheriff Bailey's talking. So Derek, he storms into the house to go get the baby crying, and Keyshawn, they're talking or whatever. And Sheriff Bailey asks about Autumn. Sheriff Bailey's like, oh, I would never realize, or I would have never thought that one of the strippers would now be a part owner of the club. So Sheriff Bailey asks Keyshawn, you know, what's her real name? And Keyshawn is like, oh, you never asked a stripper her real name. Like, you have to earn it. Which that is like a stripper, like, thing. Like, strippers always have, like, their go names. And you don't really get that information. That's not something that they just give you. Even if you come in spending, hundreds of thousands of dollars in the club. Like, in order for a stripper to give you her real name, like, she really has to be like connected with you on that level. So that is like stripper, like, one-on-one etiquette or whatever. But the reason why I think Sheriff Bailey asked it, if you guys remember last season, when the guy was coming looking for Autumn that they ended up murdering last season, he initially went to the sheriff's office. There was a scene where he walked into the sheriff's office trying to find her. So I guess he ended up using her code name because Sheriff Bailey was asking Keyshawn, like, did you ever know this girl's real name? So they don't like know the identity of Autumn coming to the city. Like I said, because the whole thing about her was sketchy. And when she first got there, Mercedes hated her. Like, they did not like her. They just looked at her, this skinny, light-skinned girl that you ain't even put in the work. You just light-skinned. That's why you getting this attention. So, yeah, so that was kind of like a little sneak tip that happened in that conversation where Sheriff Bailey was trying to get information on Autumn. Like, who is this girl? Like, what she's about. Okay, so next we have Little Murder. Guys, I'm sorry, this chair is squeaking like crazy. So next we have Little Murder showing up to Clifford's house. So as you know, Clifford lives with his grandma, who was played by I cannot think of her name. But yeah, so Clifford lives with his grandma on his 40th birthday. So he's kind of going through the motions of being 40, still living at home, not really having a relationship, not really having anything, to call his own. And Little Murder shows up to the door. So Clifford is like hiding on the side of the door, like, oh, I don't want to see this Negro. He played me out. So Little Murder and Clifford haven't even spoke since, around the time they hooked up, and then they had murder night at the strip club, which was Little Murder performing along with Keyshawn, Mississippi. So yeah, so Clifford shows up to the house, pretty much says, I wish I would have did things different. Now Little Murder shows up to the house. Now Clifford's on the other side of the door, and Little Murder doesn't know. He's kind of, just kind of telling him that I wish I would have did things different, and I just wanted to apologize to him, but I am ready to go on tour, so I did want to kind of say a little piece before I go on tour. So, Clifford is like shocked, like, dang, like this, like, you ready to go out on tour, you ready to be leaving, whatever. I'm not going to have a chance, to kind of like connect with him because he's going to be out, doing his thing on tour. Okay. Okay. So next we have the conversation of the manager, the guy that came to the club to manage Little Murder and Mississippi. So they're in the living room talking, and Keyshawn is asking all these questions. If you guys hear me say Keyshawn Mississippi, Keyshawn is her real name and Mississippi is her stage name. So if you're confused, I keep saying Keyshawn, but this season she's out of the club, so you're hearing her real name more than you're hearing them call her Mississippi. So yeah, so Keyshawn, they're all in the living room with Derek, because Derek's right there by her side, and she's asking the manager all these questions like, oh, is this coming out the door, meaning my hotel stay, my clothes, my, whatever I need as far as amenities, is this coming out the actual price of the door? Because by the time we do all this, it's like, what money am I really making? Now, when she was saying this to the manager, I don't know if she was doing that to try to throw Derek off, like to try to get him, to try to downplay this tour, to try to throw him off, or, in front of the manager. Because obviously going on tour, I mean, whatever you're paying for amenities, whatever you should, still be making your money back for whatever you're asking for the door. If you're going on tour, and you still obviously have to make a name for yourself, but if you're going on tour, the object is to make some money back. So I don't know if she was saying that, trying to throw Eric off or Derek off to downplay it, to try to just kind of like manipulate him in the situation. Because as you see later on, you're going to find out later on what happens. Okay, so the next thing is Clifford's at home because he's not at the opening. So like I said, this is Friday night now. So this is the opening of the club. Clifford is mad at Autumn. So, yeah, he doesn't show up for the opening of the club. He's like, F this girl's getting on my nerves. She thinks she running stuff. I'm over it. So Clifford goes outside to take the trash because his grandma asked him to take the trash. And he gets kidnapped. So it's this whole scene. They throw him in the back of the car. Then they pull up and it's a surprise 40th birthday party for Clifford. So guys, I don't know about you, I don't know about you guys, but that whole 40th birthday party scene for me was really random. And I'm saying it's random because we never really seen, or they never really showcased Uncle Clifford's outside life as far as having friends. Like, the sole thing about this show is that it revolves around, the strip club. So, they never really showcase friendships or Uncle Clifford having friends. I feel like they didn't even allude to, unless they did say it and I just missed it, they didn't even allude that much to Uncle Clifford, turning the big 40. So this is where like writing could be a little bit better. And the writing's not horrible. This is one of those situations where it's like, okay, this was a little random because they really didn't build up to this at all. Like I said, they really didn't showcase Uncle Clifford's like friendships or talking on the phone or yeah, girl, or they really didn't showcase him turning the big 40. Either one of those, them alluding to him turning 40 and then showcasing some form of fashion of him like interacting with his friends outside the club, that would have been better writing in my opinion, because I felt like this big 40th birthday party, like it was a big party, guys. And mind you, this is just off of the heels of them opening back up for the coronavirus, and it was all these people for this party. Now mind you, it was like an outside situation for what I've seen, but yeah, it just seemed so random. It's like, yeah, it's his 40th birthday, people do a big, big birthday parties, but it was just kind of random how they really did allude up to that in the actual show. Okay, so like I said, they throw Uncle Clifford this birthday party. He's at the birthday party, and the girls are at the club. So the three new girls. So one girl, so Miracle Watts, she's in the bar, so she's not a part of the dancers. So it's Mercedes, Whisper, and Roulette. So they're the actual all three dancers. So they're practicing, and then in another one of the rooms, some stuff starts like squeaking and moving from the wall. So this new girl, Whisper, she's in like to like spirituality and like superstition. Yeah, so that's something that they're introducing this season, the whole spirituality, superstition, kind of voodoo type of vibe. So something starts moving in the other room, and the two new girls walk into the room, and she asked Whisper, she was like, are we gonna make some money tonight? This is kind of like, yeah, like the spirits are here. We're gonna ask the spirits, are we gonna make a lot of money tonight? And then Whisper goes, it says yes. So the spirits tell her they're gonna make some good money. So Mercedes is off in the cut, just looking real scary, because Mercedes knows what really happened in the club. She knows that they murdered this guy last season in the club. Whereas these new girls coming in, they thinking it's just random spirits of the past, but they don't know like this just happened. They murdered a whole man in this club. So the energy that Mercedes has is not the same energy that they have. They thinking it's just an innocent situation. Mercedes is really scared and like tripping, like, yo, like the ghost of this man is in this building and I'm not here for it. Okay, so next the girls go out on stage and they perform. And you guys let me know, I've never been to a strip club, but do they do like actual like routines in strip clubs? Because the way they have it on the show, these girls it's the two new girls and Mercedes, the OG, and they're doing like a whole like performance. Like the way they do it, they go to one girl, go to this, go to Mercedes, and then they're on the stage. It's like a performance. So you guys let me know in strip clubs, do they really do routines like that? Because the way they shot this scene was really dope. How they did the lighting and how they had the girls do their little individual things. It was really, really dope. So let me know if that really happens in strip clubs. So yeah, so the two new girls were on there, and they're kind of overshadowing Mercedes. And Mercedes, she's very, she shows her frustrations on her sleeve. If she's pissed off, you're going to get pissed off, Mercedes. Like, that's kind of her character. It's very attitude. It's very, I'm not here for this. It's very, I'm not trying to hear what you talk about. So she shows her frustrations live in that moment. Like, you're getting the frustration. So she's, she got her face all twisted up, and she's on the stage trying to perform, but the girls are like outshining her, and I don't think that's what she planned on for them to do. She planned on for them to do their little routine, but not to be overpowering or outshining her. So Mercedes climbs up on a pole. She tries to do this move, and her arm gives out. So in the episode 1, we find out that Mercedes' arm is hurt, and she doesn't want to go to the doctor because she still needs to perform, to make money. That's how she makes the money. She's a dancer. So yeah, so her arm's been hurting this whole time. She falls off the pole, guys. They don't really show the aftermath, but they do show her in slow motion falling off of the pole. And I know that's a stripper's worst like nightmare for that to ever happen, to fall off the pole. It's embarrassing, and obviously you can get hurt. So yeah, so she falls off the pole, and then she wakes up in like a basement or like a garage. Well, not a garage, not a basement. It looks just like a little like a little side house, like an outside like garden room or something. Or she wakes up in this like little side building, and Diamond's there. So Diamond says like, yo, what happened to you? She's like, my arm just felt heavy and I ended up falling off the pole. So he tells her to turn over on her back, turn over her stomach. And he starts performing this like voodoo superstitious stuff. So like I said, they're doing a lot of like superstitious, supernatural, like spiritual stuff this season, which they never really introduced that at all in season 1. So that's something completely new that they're doing this season, the whole supernatural energy stuff, because we have Whisper, she's into it, now we see Diamond into it. But like I said, all last season we never saw that type of energy at all. As far as like the supernatural, we never saw that. So that's something totally new. So Diamond performs this whole like little voodoo thing on her, and he ends up lifting or taking 7 pounds of pressure out of her shoulder. And he was like, yeah, I just took 7 pounds of energy or pressure out of your shoulder. And Mercedes was like, 7 pounds, that sounds real specific. He was like, well, all I know is 7 pounds is the amount of pressure it takes to pull off a gun. And as you guys know, the guy that they murdered, they end up, I think, taking his gun. I don't know, it might have been his gun or maybe Diamond's gun, somebody's gun. But I think he did have a gun on him, and they end up, killing him or pulling the trigger, on this guy. And so Mercedes is yelling at Autumn. She was like, you did this, I'm gonna get caught and I'm gonna go to jail. And Uncle Clifford's like, baby, calm down. Nobody's going to jail. Everybody that was in that room is the people here now. Nobody else knows. Calm down. So yeah, so Diamond sits this pressure. He sits this 7 pounds on the scale, opens up the window, and then the scale goes to 0. So like this energy, essentially, it goes out the window. He lifted it from her shoulder, put it on the scale, opened up the window, and then it like went out the window. This energy is now gone from her shoulder because her shoulder's been feeling that way ever since that night. So yeah, so Mercedes to Autumn, like, you gotta get out of my house. You gotta go, I'm over it. I've been holding it down, stacking up the money. She was stacking up the money to get her studio, to get out of the strip club. Then her mom took the money to start a church. And, Mercedes, she's about her stuff. Like, regardless of, the perception of her being a dancer, like, she has bigger goals for herself. And she knows she can't, dance in the strip club forever. So she's really about her business and doing what needs to be done. And Autumn was there, living with her. She had Autumn's back because Autumn went and got her out of jail, and they ended up moving together and, creating this bond. But now with this whole situation with this murder, Mercedes, she's pretty much over it. She's like, you gotta get up out of here. Like, I know you did what you did, and, no good deed goes, unappreciated. But you gotta get up out of here. Like, I'm over it. So yeah, yeah, and then at the very end of the episode, we have Keyshawn getting into the car. So that's why I said Keyshawn was going back and forth with the manager. The last scene of this episode is Keyshawn getting into the car with all the boys to go on this tour. So yeah, but yeah, guys, that's pretty much the breakdown of episode 2. Also, I feel like we need more backstory. I hope they go into the backstory of Keyshawn and Derek. So I think it was on episode 1. Lilmurda was talking to his homie. And he was like, how the heck did Keyshawn end up with Derek? Now, mind you, we're in the South. We're in the deep South. So you have a girl who's brown skin, pretty, she fine and she thick. Hey, you have somebody that looks like Keyshawn with a white boy like Derek. So that's kind of once everybody found out last season that he was white, like, that really threw everybody for a loop. But the baby on the show was light skinned. So I feel like I heard, or I was watching like a podcast or a review where somebody said that it was like, oh, her baby daddy had to be white because the baby was light, which I didn't even pay attention to that because obviously, with black people, it's like a box of chocolates where you can be, dark as night, to, you know, light bright. So when it comes to skin tone, that's not really an indication. But I feel like I did see on a YouTube video somebody saying like, oh, he had to be white because that baby was light. But yeah, ever since we found out Keyshawn's baby daddy, you know, was this white guy, you know, here in the South, it's like, what in the heck? Like, how did that happen? So that's also something with the writing. I feel like we need to get a backstory. We need to get a flashback to how she ended up with Derek in this, you know, terrible, abusive relationship. Like, it's really bad. You know, and this really happens, but I think the whole black and white thing, that's what's really throwing people off. You know, the abusive part, you know, unfortunately, this goes down, you know, every day, you know, across the world. But her ending up with him being, you know, this white redneck guy, it's like, I feel like they have got to write that in this season. They've got to give us a flashback, a backstory of how the heck she ended up with Derek. Because the viewing audience, I feel like we're just too confused at that she's with this white guy, this white country redneck guy. But yeah, guys, that is the breakdown of episode 2. I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown. Leave any comments, questions, concerns, anything that I got wrong, or, you know, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me, what you think about this episode, what you think about what's coming up. Like I said, if you guys like this, you know, give it a thumbs up, share it, the whole 9. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and I will hopefully continue to do a review you know, each week for each episode, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.